So businessman Vusimuzi Matlala and his co-accused are expected back in the Johannesburg High Court today as the state and defense engage the Department of Correctional Services over his place of detention. The matter was postponed to allow consultations following an application by Matlala's legal team for his transfer from Ebongweni Super Maximum Correctional Centre in KZN to a prison closer to Johannesburg. The defense argues that the long distance is hampering consultations with their client. Matlala faces charges of attempted murder relating to a shooting incident involving his former partner, Tebogo Thobejane. Let's get you a sense of what else we know so far. Bring in SABC News reporter Neria Hlakotsa, who joins us now live from the streets of Johannesburg. And Neria, there may very well be yet another postponement given the side issue around where Matlala is currently being detained.
Definitely, Ayanda. Good morning to you and good morning to the viewers. Well, basically today we are expecting more than anything to hear how those discussions with the Department of Correctional Services went. Remember last week, Judge William Karam did order the state and Matlala's defense team to have a conversation with the Department of Correctional Services because, like you said, Matlala's legal team is arguing that Ebongweni is simply too far. They even made an example to say just to get to their client, they have to fly to Durban, from Durban, then hire a car and drive 3.5 hours just to get to Ebongweni. And they also argued that even when they're there, they can only consult for a maximum of 2 hours. So they spend so much time on the road just to speak to their client for maximum 2 hours. They also raised to the judge, however, the issue of privacy. They were also arguing that at Ebongweni, they don't even have privacy to consult with their client. And ultimately, they believe that the Department of Correctional Services has to make a plan. They want their client to be moved closer. They were even saying that there is a CMX presence in Gauteng. They would not mind if he was moved to Pretoria or even anywhere in Johannesburg, but being in Kokstad is simply too far, and they feel that Matlala would not get a fair trial if this continues. But remember, this week on Monday, the Department of Correctional Services did confirm that they have been in talks with the NPA and Matlala's legal team. So today we'll hear how those discussions panned out and what is the final decision. However, Matlala's legal team was also clear that should they not get what they want, then they will bring an application where they ask the court to order that Matlala be brought closer. And they also indicated that more than anything, Matlala wants this trial to move as speedy as possible. Ayanda, you must remember, Matlala has always denied the allegations that he's facing. The state is saying he's facing 11 counts of attempted murder for those 3 incidents of his former partner, Tebogo Thobejane, of businessman Joe Sibanyoni, and Seunkie Mokubong, also known as DJ Vetis. And in both these incidents, Matlala maintains that he is innocent, but the state says they have a circumstantial case, but it can be proven and it should not be ignored. So last week we did see Matlala and his co-accused also appearing here in the High Court. Remember, among the co-accused is his wife, Seunkie Matlala. She is currently out on 20,000 rand bail. There's also accused number 5 who's also out on 10,000 rand bail. When it comes to Matlala and the alleged gunmen, Tebogo Mabusela and Mosakekana, they remain behind bars. But you must remember with Mosakekana and the Floyd, with them, what happened there is that for this case, they are not in custody but out on warning, but they are in custody for another case. So the judge was clear that he will hear what has to happen or the outcome of those discussions, and then they will take it from there. But for now, pre-trial hearings will be halted until we hear the final decision in terms of where to from here. Will Matlala come back or will Matlala remain in Kokstad?
Gosh, and there have already been so many more delays. Let's see how it all unfolds. Neria Hlakotsa live to us from outside the High Court in Johannesburg. Thanks very much indeed.